sponsors of the Pure West Sports Show.
Well, a very good evening and welcome back to the third and final part of tonight's Pure West Sport with Eaton-Evans and Morris Solicitors. We're across Pembrokeshire on DAB digital radio this evening and on the Pure West Facebook page and on Instagram, on the app, on the website and on your smart speakers. And we are really pleased to be joined by the former Ospreys head coach turned top pundit, Sean Holley, as we, of course, are midway through the Six Nations, but all change for Wales as they play Ireland in Cardiff at the weekend. Sean, how are you doing?
I'm good, Ben. How are you? Good to see you. Top pundit, eh? Wow. Well, not so sure about that. All these ex-players are going on there now, are they?
Sean, it is great to see you, and of course only one place to start. Fraser Watson, who's normally on the show with us, isn't here tonight unfortunately, but he was in Rome for the game against Italy, and I think that the feeling from both Fraser and Gordon on this show was that it was coming to an end. I think they probably expected Warren Gatland would last to the end of the tournament. How surprised were you at the announcement from the WRU last week?
Oh, Ben, not surprised at all. The only surprise was it took them that long, really. I think it was probably too expensive to remove Warren at the end of the autumn, so no surprise. But I feel a little sorry for him. And, you know, he's had to go, and what has really changed? You know, nothing will change. Matt will come in and freshen it up a little bit for a couple of weeks, but you know, it is what it is in terms of the players that we have and the teams that we're up against. So I wasn't surprised, no. And I think, you know, removing Robert Howley as well is probably, you know, a good thing. You know, nothing against Rob, but he came along with Gats in the second tenure, and Matt just wants a bit of elbow room, particularly with the attack, I would have thought.
I will come to that and what happens ahead of Ireland and what will be going on this week in the Wales camp. I just wondered your take on Warren Gatland and what this second spell has done to his legacy, because he would not have wanted it to have gone the way it has, goes without saying, but it has gone catastrophically badly, hasn't it? 14 straight defeats. How much damage, Sean, has been done, do you think?
Well, almost irreparable damage. That's my concern. I was speaking to Dan Bigger today. We're still very close, and you know, we were just both talking about how long it would take to recover, and the worry is that, you know, we might not recover. And I know that's a bit of a bold statement, but you know, when you look at the crowds at regional rugby, some of the plight of the club rugby in the community game, the numbers, you know, and the types of supporters that go into the international game and the cost that is now, it is a real concern. And I don't put all of that on the doorstep of Warren Gatland, and I think his legacy, to answer your question, I think his legacy is intact, because as time goes on, what he achieved was unprecedented with the Welsh team, and I don't think that'll change anytime soon. But it has been disappointing. I don't think he's changed his ways. I don't think he's changed how Wales have played. I think we're a little bit behind all the other regions, and we're playing catch up.
Gordon.
Yeah, Sean, it's really sad times for Welsh rugby. Seeing the depths of where we are today. You know, it's only 4 or 5 years ago, 2019, we won the Grand Slam. It's obviously a deep-rooted problem. I see it. It's not. It's been waiting to happen for a little while. I know you know, being an ex-coach, but schools rugby is not the same. You know, you shouldn't look back. You've got to look forward. I understand that, but kids got a lot more other interests as well today. Rugby was the only sport that I could play at secondary school level. We've lost that as our number one sport. Welsh football is going well. You know, that probably takes a little bit of the shine off the rugby. How do you see in the future rugby getting back to what it was?
I agree with you, God. I could only play rugby in the winter time in school. John Bevan, the late John Bevan, was my PE master.
Yeah.
And you know, unfortunately, society's changed. You know, there's very little rugby in schools. Only certain schools now. So much more choice for youngsters. I think if you look at club rugby, you know, people are migrating to cities, to larger towns to find work. They're going across the bridge. They go to university and college elsewhere. So, and there's no need for 3, 4, 5 rugby clubs in one small town like my town, Port Talbot. You know, when you talk about Tybark, Aberafon Quins, Aberafon Green Stars, Tata Steel, Carmarthen, Pontrydyfen,
Yeah.
you know, all within the space of a 3-mile radius, you know, and you can't sustain that. So I really
No.
worry. I do think rugby should be back in schools. I advocated for almost rugby to be part of the national curriculum. And I don't just mean playing rugby. I mean
No.
understanding our culture, understanding,
Yeah.
learning the words to our national anthem and the hymns that we sing
Yeah.
at the stadium, learning the economics of what a winning Welsh team does to the mood of the nation, the economic state of the nation, you know, as well as respect of officials and coaches and understanding the laws. All of those things I think should be part of our children's curriculum. I really do, because it has a massive impact on our society. But anyway, that's me jumping on my soapbox. I agree. Schools rugby, I believe youth rugby. I think the gap in the age that they've extended is it can't be bridged, because some of the younger end of the youth now are up against, you know, some big boys. It's a big
Yeah.
gap, and then they're going into senior rugby, maybe a little bit raw. At the top end of the game, I feel that we've lost a generation of player to academies not playing enough rugby because they're on a conditioning phase or a development phase. You know, people say to me, "Oh, you know, yeah, we got young players like Dewi Lake and Jack Moore." They're not young players. They're 25, 26. You know, we picked Dan Bigger for Wales in 2009, age 18. You know,
Yeah.
Sam
I know.
Morgan, Jonathan Davis,
George North.
all these players were playing young. And, you know, we now have to put them on some sort of physical conditioning phase. And if they hold bags on a Friday for a senior session and their GPS says they've done 20 minutes work, then they can't play for their club on a Saturday. It's an absolute joke. And I think, you know, we need to get these players playing. They should be playing for their local clubs. If they don't get in the semi-pro teams, they go back to their origin clubs. You know, there's lots of things that we've missed out on, Gordon. And
Yeah. Well,
how we're going to
Sean,
get it back, I don't know.
Sean, I know you would have done it because I did it. I played 2 games in one day, and now you can
Yeah.
only play. You know, when you're a kid, you can just get on with it and play. You could play all day, every day. You know, I think we've gone too far down the conditioning road of these academies, and you should be lifting this, you should be doing that. You know what I mean? It's gone too structured, in my opinion. We've taken the flair out of the game as well. Players can't think on their feet anymore.
No.
I
And I
don't know
think
how
we
you
lose.
feel about it.
Yeah, I agree. You know, why can't we play other sports? I used to play soccer on a Saturday morning, rugby on a
That's
Saturday
it.
afternoon,
Yeah.
and soccer again on Sunday morning, and then I'd go to cricket nets, winter nets, Sunday
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
And you'd have another game for the school on a Wednesday, a game of rugby. You know,
So
I
really,
I don't.
really, Sean, it's nonsense, isn't it? It's absolute
Is it?
nonsense.
Yeah, there's a lot of nonsense, and as well, I think we lose a lot of players because they are pigeonholed. All right, if you don't make the academy if you don't make the Ospreys Academy at 16, players and parents, more importantly, go in. Oh, well, I'm not going to make it now, so guess what? I'll go off and do something else. You know, players like Ryan Jones
Yeah.
didn't come into the game until they were about 17, 18-year old. You know,
And another
they were
one of
late
your
starters.
players, Brian Williams. I remember him coming into
Yeah,
the game. He came
that's
into
right.
the same county side as me, and he was
Yeah.
like 18 then.
And that leads me to then something that where I started, and that was university rugby. So I
Yeah.
went to Loughborough Uni. It was almost like being a professional rugby player when I was at Loughborough. Then I took that sort of emphasis to Hartpury College. Look at Hartpury College now.
Yeah.
Why
Brilliant.
don't
Yeah.
we harness? We don't harness Cardiff Met, Cardiff Uni,
No.
Swansea Uni, you know, University of Wales, Bangor. You know, we've got good universities, and I don't see why we can't use that as a stepping stone as well. Like I am been involved in it. I've been involved quietly as a mentor. I'm a coach mentor for 5 of the up and coming coaches. So I am attached to the game. I'm still close to the game with my punditry and commentary. But it beggars belief. You know, I shake my head and I don't know why, because it happened for the 20 years I was coaching professionally. I'm
Yeah.
used to this sort of nonsense,
Mm.
and it just continues. It's unbelievable.
Guys, it's great just sat here listening to the two of you talking so much
Sorry,
sense.
I'm ranting.
No,
Ben.
it's absolutely,
That's
it's really
because
good and great
Sean and
to
I
hear.
have played at a level and we're passionate
Yeah,
about
and
the game. We hate to see it going down the route it is. It needs to be, we need to get around
yeah.
the table properly and get the right people in the right places and sort this mess out.
I just wanted to bring it back to what's happening right now, Sean, and Matt Sherritt goes in there today, doesn't he? And I think did his first training session, having been in charge of Cardiff on Saturday. What will he do? Do you think this week and for the rest of the tournament? Because there's two ways of looking at it. You say, why would anyone take the job now? But actually, you can't do much worse than what has happened over the last 14 games. So, what do you expect his approach to be now for the rest of the tournament? What would you do if you were him?
Well, I know Matt really well. He coached with me at Bristol and at Gloucester previously. So I know he won't change his style or what he does, Ben. And that is he'll lighten the mood of the camp. So the culture will change quite quickly. He'll have a really strong, positive relationship with the players. He's coached a lot of them before. He'll be very positive in his outlook. He'll be very honest. He'll know when to have a laugh and joke with the boys, and he'll know when to get serious. And I think that's important. I think that possibly will have been missing under the last regime. So he'll lighten the mood, and he'll get them. He'll tweak a few things. Obviously, bringing Jared Evans and Gareth Anscombe in particular into the fold tells you that there's going to be a change in how they're going to try and attack. They need to play a lot flatter to the line and move on to the ball, because we're sitting ducks for defences at the moment. We're deep and static, and defences are coming off Ireland. They're one of the best defensive sides in the world. They will just come off and knock us down if we don't move at them. We had an old phrase at the Osprey saying, "Who's attacking who?" And if you run at somebody, human behaviour will stop them a little bit. But if you just stay static and they run at you, you're dead. Yeah, so I think we'll see some sort of ingenuity. There was a cracking Cardiff tryout in Connacht. A lovely first phase play. Hamer Webb goes through. So Matt will be very creative off first phase. So he'll be looking to build on. The set piece hasn't been too bad in the autumn in the Six Nations. So credit to John Humphreys and Adam Jones now coming in. TRT Thomas has come in. Yep. So he will look to build off the good set piece and work out some magic, some trick play, some nuances around first phase. That will get us some go forward. Because let's face it, boys, we haven't had any go forward, have we? In phase play.
The other frustration, Sean, is the using the box kick all the time. It really frustrates me. When you've got possession of the ball, it's the most important thing to keep hold of it and move forward, as you've just been going through the phases or whatever. But when we kick it away, we give away territory all the time. Every time the team seems to, we don't get a hand on it. They have it and they come back at us.
It's unfortunately, God, it is a fact of modern rugby, and we probably kick less than Ireland and France and England. England kick the most, but I think it's how you kick. I think that's the thing.
Definitely.
I think we kick a little bit aimless. We certainly did against Italy in that second half. We kick a bit aimless, and the other team, and Ireland, will eat that up. Hugo Keenan and people like that will eat that up. So we need to kick to compete to get it back. And we're kicking a little bit into no man's land. So I agree with you on that.
And Sean, final one then, because I know you got to go. But who would you be looking to take over from Warren Gatland, assuming that Matt takes the job for what's left of this tournament, then goes back to Cardiff? Who would be
Sean
your
Holley
choice?
put his name in the hat?
No, Sean Holley hasn't. No, he hasn't. He's too busy growing his golf business. But no, he's. I said it on Scrum 5 on Friday. What have we got to lose? I would put something like Danny Wilson again, who worked for me at Bristol, and I worked with him at Scarlet. I put him in. He's had international experience. He's a very, very strategic, good coach, good with players, and with Matt Sherritt alongside him. Maybe Mark Jones as well. I know that takes guys away from the regional game, but we've got one chance here now to get this right. I keep Adam in there. I would keep Jonathan Humphreys as a mentor to Adam for now. And then maybe something like Lee Halfpenny coming in on the kicking side. Let's get some of these younger, fresh approach in and give them a bit of a go, because we've got a group of young players now. So that would be my outlook. If failing that, I desperately try and get Joe Schmidt, but he's going to take a sabbatical from the Australians now, and then I think he'll go back to them after the Lions. And then if we can't get him, Maybe I will come back then, God.
Yeah, I'll force your hand, Sean. Okay.
Simon Easterby, Sean.
So he's a
There's
good
another
candidate again.
good name in the
Worked
hat,
this time and it's at Scarlett, and he'd be a good candidate. However, you know, he's going to be Ireland coach in the now in the Six Nations in the summer on their tour. You know, if that goes well, is he going to think, well, I'm next in line after Andy Farrell? You know, who? The question is, boys, who in their right mind would take the job now?
Yeah, it's a big one, isn't it? Yeah,
we just leave the show on that.
Yeah,
things will get better, Sean. It goes in cycles. It will get better,
so.
but it's going to take a little time. This one is.
Sean, listen, thank you ever so much for being with us on Pure West Sport. It really is good to talk to you. No problem at all.
Appreciate your time, Sean. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Keep up the good work.
Excellent stuff.
Cheers,
Sean
mate.
Holley,
Take
our
care.
guest on Pure West Sport this Monday evening. You'll be able to watch that video back on the Facebook page and also catch up as well on the website at purewestradio.com. Well, one other name that actually has just been suggested. What about Eddie Jones? Oh, I don't know. I did think of Eddie Jones at the weekend, and he's got some international experience. Tarnished a bit by his England spell, maybe.
Yeah, you've got to get over that hurdle. You've got to look for the right fit for Welsh rugby. That's what you've got to look at. It doesn't matter where they've been before. They've got to be the right fit to move Wales forward, and it's going to be a big task.
Would he take it? No
idea if they'll always take it if the money is right, Ben. Don't worry about that.
Stuart
Lancaster. The WRU are a bit cash strapped at the moment, so there won't be a lot of money going around. But they need to sort it out, you know, before the summer. Anyway, we know Sharrett's in for the whole of the Six Nations. Who knows? We could win the Triple Crown. We're still in with a shout, you know. If we win the Triple Crown, Sharrett will be the saviour.
If he gets a response, do you think there's any world where Matt Sherratt takes the job full time?
Yeah, you could never say never. He's in that position now. Yes, nobody wanted the job, but he was man enough to put his hand up and say, "I'll take it on." And if he does do a half decent job, and like Sean was talking earlier, bringing in a few ex-players.
I like that.
It's a great idea. They're in touch with the game now. I mean, they should have been doing that years ago, in my opinion. But that doesn't count for anything anyway.
And Gord, I know you know Sean very well, and I think he's a brilliant speaker. Do you think is he a loss to the coaching game as well? Because he did brilliantly, didn't he, at the Ospreys?
He's got a lot of experience, and as you know, he's a very good speaker. He analyses things brilliantly, and he has a different perspective on the game, and you need that. You do need that. He'll never lose that. He's always thinking outside the box, and you know, you can't lose the people of his caliber. The trouble is, they think you get over a certain age, the game's changed. You know nothing about rugby, but I can tell you, he knows a lot about the game.
And I thought it was interesting what he said, that he is involved mentoring up and coming coaches, and I think that's brilliant. And I do think, and sat here listening to the two of you, that there must be a place for people like Sean Holley in terms of the discussion about the future of Welsh rugby as well.
It's the easiest thing to get up here and start saying we should be doing this, should be doing that. The hardest job is actually doing the job. You know, they get in the motivation of players every Saturday through training and whatever they got to do. It's difficult, and you're managing a lot of egos as well, Ben. There's some tough characters in the rugby circles, and you know, you need to be able to manage them and get the best out of them. People like Sean Holley know how to manage these guys.
Yeah, okay, well, we shall see what happens. Ireland in Cardiff when the Six Nations resumes Saturday afternoon. A famous win, do you think?
And
against the odds?
Don't forget the Calcutta Cup. England against Scotland. That should be a cracker too.
Absolutely. And Italy, Ireland as well. So it's going to be exciting. I think you get excited when the tournament has its midway break, and you look forward to it coming back. And Wales, Ireland has had some exciting finishes.
I've actually tipped Ireland to win the Six Nations. I think they will do now. They've done the hard work, really. I can't see Wales beating them on Saturday. Let's be realistic about things. But as long as we compete.
And actually be interesting if as Sean said, what Matt Sherratt will almost do is go back to basics this week and just focus
100%, Ben.
Get them to enjoy it.
Keep it simple, the KISS system.
Yeah, it's exactly right. Well, we shall see. Okay, well, we are almost done this evening. We've got this far. I haven't mentioned what happened yesterday. It was the Stone Thomas derby, wasn't it? Yesterday, Tottenham against Man U. Finished 1-0.
Hey,
James
first time
Maddison's
Spurs
goal.
have done the double over Man United for quite a while, I think, Ben. You
It-
probably tell me exactly how many years now.
I saw that stat this morning, and I can't remember off the top of my head. But
No, well done to Spurs. We're struggling like yourselves. We've had a difficult season. We're still in the FA Cup. I can't see, Hey, we could be in is it the European Cup Winners' Cup? I call it now. We're
Yeah, the
both in that.
Europa
We could
League,
meet
yeah.
each other in the final. Could you
But-
imagine that?
that is being talked about, isn't it? That it could be a Spurs Man U final. Yeah, I have to say,
It won't
not
happen, mate.
Not based on yesterday, because that was not a quality game, was it? That didn't look like a
No.
Premier League game at times. Gordon, thank you very much indeed. Enjoyed your company as ever this Monday evening. We'll be back again 7 until 9 on Pure West Sport next Monday. On the way after the 9 o'clock news, it's the 2-hour takeover. The two Dannies and Steve are standing by, and they're with you on DAB Digital Radio across Pembrokeshire this Monday evening. We'll see you next week for more Pure West Sport. Good night.
Pembrokeshire College, Coleg Sir Benfro.